What's up, everybody? Steve here. I've bought some stupid shit over the years and got into debt on things I should have never have gotten into debt on personally, and all it did was just set me back years and years and years, caused me to have a stressful life and everything else, which is one of the reasons for this channel, because I want a lot of you guys to avoid those mistakes. And if you guys are in a situation, to strategize on how the hell you can get out of certain debt positions of personal liability. Look, I think that there is good debt in terms of taking debt to invest in assets that it's actually going to cash flow for you. And I think that there is a fine line in terms of figuring out debt position in terms of not over leveraging too much. But the bad debt, man, it's the debt that sneaks up on you, because you know, it's easy to grab a credit card and go and pay for stupid shit on your credit card, and then all of a sudden it's going up and up and up and up and up, and then before you look at it, you look at your credit card bill, you're like, holy shit, there's 12 grand worth of debt on there. What the hell did I spend it on? So when you have an open line of credit on a credit card, it's easy to spend on there. And then it's even easier to kind of like not look at that bill, pay that minimum payment, never get ahead on that. And then all of a sudden you're in a situation where you're like, damn, I really fucked up. So let me just touch on a quick story. Back before the last real estate recession, everything was great. Things felt great. You know, we're out there partying. We're doing real estate transactions. This is going to keep going on forever. And one thing in particular was I bought a handful of properties that literally, and we are doing this for other real estate investors as well, it was all speculation. So we would buy a property, and then if it was pre-construction, by the time it's CO'd, certificate of occupancy, we would essentially flip these properties without doing anything to them. We would even buy other properties with putting very little money or little effort into these properties and sell them literally within the next month or 2 months, and get tens of thousands of dollars in profit from just flipping these. And eerily today, in today's market in 2021, in my opinion, it's a very comparable situation. We're in this situation where there's a lot of funny money out there. And I think that because of government intrusion and with interest rates as low as they are, it's created an asset bubble, not just real estate. I think that we're in a complete asset bubble. Everything has gone up in price. I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. He's got I think it's a 30-foot center console fishing boat, nice boat, and he's owned it for like 8 years. And this dude, literally a couple of weeks ago, sold the boat that he picked up 8 years ago, didn't put any money into it except for routine maintenance, which you need with a boat. And he sold it and made like 10 grand, 15 grand on this boat after using it for 8 years. That just doesn't happen unless it's like a collector's boat or you know, an antique boat. You know, boats usually go down in value just like a lot of other things. Same thing with the used car market. I mean, right now, to get a little shit banger, you're talking $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 for anything that's decent, where before this entire mess, I mean, you can pick up that same car for half the price. So I think that we are in an asset bubble. I think things are going to crash, honestly. And I think right now is prime time for not only strategizing on how to get out of debt, but also if you guys have the abilities to sell off certain assets at the height of the market, I would do so. Even right now, I'm going to do another video of the property that I'm buying, and it's a condo. It comes with a boat lift, and it comes with a nice 22-foot Robalo. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, this thing right now, you know, the book value of it is about $55,000. And I think when I close on this condo, I think I might just sell this boat. Now, don't get me wrong, I want to be on this boat. I want to be exploring the waters of Southwest Florida. I want to be fishing, tubing, and doing all the awesome things that come along with a boat. But financially, I'm like, I got a $55,000 asset that I could flip, put in my pocket, and then utilize those funds to buy other things, to buy other assets, income producing assets. And all a boat is, even if you're free and clear on it, it's a liability. So there might be prime opportunity if you guys do own some assets to potentially liquidate, pay off any and all personal debts that you have, kind of hit the reboot button and start fresh. Because I think coming into this new market, I think there are going to be a lot of distressed assets on the market that are going to be ripe for picking up at a super cheap price. And I think this is going to be from anything from cars to boats to RVs to real estate to stocks, to small businesses that are going to be going out of business. I mean, look at it right now. I mean, what is it? Every other restaurant has gone out of business. I mean, you could pick up restaurant equipment on super cheap right now. So I think that there's going to be a ton of opportunity to picking up other assets in the future super cheap. And the only way to do that is really to get your debt position, your personal debt position, under control. This way you guys have maybe the credit lines, you guys have the ability to get some financing on future assets that are going to be at a much lower price than we're seeing today. There's other ways of getting out of debt quickly. There's other ways of paying off your home. And look, if you own a home and you have significant equity and you guys maybe you're interested in downsizing or living in a smaller property, you might be in an equity position right now that you take all of your equity and then go buy cash for a small property, or move out of the area that you guys have been looking to move out of because you're just sick and tired of certain states and certain income taxes or state income taxes, whatever the case is. But you might have a good equity position on the home you live in right now as well. So this could be the prime opportunity where you're like, you know what, maybe it is a good time to cash out. I've seen it in the last real estate recession where a lot of people, they got greedy. You know, it was a seller's market. You know, you put a property on the market and you know, you put whatever price tag you want on that thing and it would sell right away. I remember being in an area in Fort Myers, multiple areas of Fort Myers. These were called condo conversions. And basically when they released the product, essentially it was taking an apartment complex and converting it into condominiums, separately strapping each unit into its own condo. And then they would release these condos. And I remember sitting in line and also putting my sister in line for these, even sitting overnight to ensure that we had a spot to get in to sell to investors of ours. And it was just a ridiculous market. It was an unhealthy market. And back then it was because of financing and how easy it was to get financing back then. We're in a completely different market these days, obviously, but you know, there's certain fundamentals that are true, and I think certain things that are very comparable when you take a deeper look at things in terms of, you know, the liquidity in the market and what's going on, and also government intrusion, what they've done to the real estate market with eviction moratoriums, with forbearance, with the moratorium on foreclosures. So there's a lot of factors in today's market that I think we all need to look at. And shit. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.